Okay, let's call to order the Carroll County weekly meeting of May 29th. Would you join me in the pledge?
That's great.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll wait a motion on the minutes from last week. Would you like to second that?
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and second to accept the minutes from May 22nd. Are there any admissions or errors or corrections? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Excuse me. So May's all gone.
She's just about.
You know, the leaves just came out and they're gonna be going again.
Good. Are there any media questions?
Not yet.
Are there any public input? All right. The check manifest approval for the week ending May 24th was $691,508.96. And I guess today we're going to start with some bids for an ice maker.
Yes, ma'am. We went out to bid on the dryers a couple weeks ago and the ice maker. We received one bid. It arrived on 5/23 at 10:10 a.m.
Commissioners, time out. With your permission, I brought Carrie to discuss another subject, and she's got a meeting at 9 o'clock. And if you don't mind, could we discuss hers first? And
Yes,
send her on her way. Thank you.
Fine with me. Okay.
Thank you.
Carrie, you're on.
For those, I don't think you've met Carrie.
met Carrie.
This is Carrie Archambault. She's my
Nice to meet you.
She's my right hand at the nursing home. I couldn't do my job without her. So, what we have today is donated pieces of furniture and other assortment of things that have been donated to the nursing home over the years that have piled up, and we need to move them. They've been donated from residents that have left us for one reason or another. And we've taken what has been suitable for other residents, but the other stuff, it's kind of too good to throw away. But we want to dispose of these items, and not in the means of throwing it away, but basically auction it off to other staff first, and if we can't get rid of it that way, find another means of getting rid of it. But since it was donated and it has become county property, I can't do that without your blessing.
So you want to have like a silent auction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, I had gone to Howie to discuss it because we are just packed full of stuff. And he had said that maybe a silent auction for county staff would be beneficial because there's all kinds of stuff. There's bookcases and radios and there's a keyboard and desks and
Lots
so
of
on.
recliners.
Lots of odd end stuff. And he had mentioned the silent auction, and then I found out that I had to get permission to do the silent auction so that we could move forward with that. Whether or not it's actually going to produce any real revenue, I have no idea, but it's either that or we're going to have to get permission to throw it away or give it away for free because we can't house any more stuff.
How, you came to us before with clothes, how does that work?
It's working out great. I mean, whatever we don't need ends up in the donation bin and they come and pick it up regularly. It's working out really well. It's keeping us from being overwhelmed with clothing that people don't need.
Comment?
Auction them off.
Where is the proceeds gonna go from this?
It was suggested by Howie that they go to the staff recognition fund. But I have it doesn't matter to me where it goes. I just want to get rid of the stuff. I mean, you guys can do whatever you want with the money.
Is there a possibility of putting in that stuff that we've been trying to get rid of from the registry of the deeds, to throw that in there too?
Sure.
I mean, and
That's all well and good, and I love the idea of an auction, but you need a plan B too, because everything may not be auctioned off. You may end up with stuff still left.
Plan B would open it up to yard sale, public,
Yeah,
and Plan C would
be dumb.
dump, throw it away, get rid of it.
Ken?
What about like White Horse or Starting Point, Recovery, all those places? The one that we just signed, that they just signed up with us this past year. The one that Janice Spinney is doing.
and their comment.
Yeah. You know, because people live there, so they might be able to use some of that as well, and also the clothing. So I think Plan B would be to get in touch with White Horse
Sure.
and all the, nonprofits, they might utilize the
It
clothes.
works.
Well, the clothing goes to a nonprofit, right?
It goes into the yellow bin.
Yeah, the Yellow Bin, which is a Planet Aid organization which sends everything overseas for to help the economy over there, because unfortunately we couldn't find charities that wanted it here.
Why don't we put the money, if we have a silent auction and we get any money, why don't we put it in the doobie fund?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Um,
We never put money in there.
Yeah, and I don't know if we can do that. We'll have to check with our with the bank on that. I was going to recommend that we put it towards that grandfather clock that we were supposed to get for the entryway. I mean, it's only going to be a couple $100 if that. So I mean, I don't think it should go to the employee fund. I just think it should go to the resident fund or something established for the residents.
Maybe the activities fund?
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the resident fund. Yeah.
Well, the doobie fund has to go to all, something that benefits all the residents
Residents.
also.
Yeah, but we never spend it. You know what I
It's
mean?
not a bad thing. If something comes along, we'll have the money
Yeah,
to buy it.
okay.
Okay, I would make a motion that we allow them to have a silent auction.
Second.
And they can make decision as to how open it is. You may open it to the community for a week or two, and whatever, and then to the, whoever. You're in charge. How's that?
Okay.
Where is this gonna be?
At the old nursing home.
Oh, so you're just gonna put everything in a room and,
It's out in the lobby
It's-
right now.
okay.
We've got the lobby lined with things.
That would allow people to see what a beautiful building that is.
Sure.
yeah, I haven't seen that building yet, so it's a
Sure.
good excuse to go there.
Okay, motions are made and seconded to let Carrie be in charge of disposal of the excess household furniture, etc. All those in favor say aye. David, discussion?
I seconded the motion, but that wasn't the motion that I seconded. It wasn't to put Carrie in
Right.
charge of getting rid of it. She could walk out the door and say, didn't like us today, and say, I'll give it all away. It was to have a silent auction. That's what your motion was, or to auction it off.
Would you like to read the motion back, please, Cheryl, if I misinterpreted?
Commissioner Bevard, motion to authorize, I put Bob or Carrie, to have a silent auction to dispose of the unneeded
Okay. Is that all right?
furniture
Yes.
items.
So all of those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Bless you.
Thank you very much.
So now if either one of you get mad at us, you still owe me old stuff.
When would you like to have this?
I'd like to have it relatively soon, within probably the next 3 weeks.
Okay, would you coordinate with Lisa? She has some materials down there that probably should be added to it also.
It's registered deeds.
Downstairs.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
Thanks.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thanks, Carrie.
By the way, Karen,
Yes, ma'am.
congratulations, that's 2 for 2. You've come with 2 good ideas and walked away being boss of both of them.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, back to opening the bid.
The bid for the fire panel at the jail.
Well, gosh. They usually give me a knife, but I don't think they trusted me with it.
One knife.
I got it. If the pen holds out. My gosh, they build this stuff rugged.
Just don't hit your lip.
I know this. This was advertised on our website.
Yes.
This is for the control panel.
For the jail. Fire panel.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought we were doing the ice maker bid.
It's already been
We
opened.
did it last week.
We just need to, okay. All right, so we're down to number 2. Okay, so for the fire panel, it's night security alarm system. And I guess they sent a copy for everybody here. And because they were the only submitter, I guess it would be the apparent low bidder would be Night Security Alarm Company out of Borough, New Hampshire, $24,492. So, I'll give it to you to peruse, make sure it's doing what it's supposed to,
Yes.
and get with Ken and come back with us.
Hands up all over.
Yeah,
Can you just read the amount again? It was
$24,492.
$492. Okay, thank you.
David?
Yeah, maybe Bob or Batch can tell us. Why is this so expensive? Didn't we have a system in there before, or are we starting from ground zero, or?
The system that is in there, I believe, is original to the jail. Your fire panel.
Yes.
It's original to the jail, and it's beyond its useful life. It's been giving them trouble, and it's time to upgrade.
Oh, I thought it was a replacement.
It is.
Right.
It is. It's a replacement of an existing system.
And upgrading the system we have there now is going to be more expensive than $25,000?
It's going to be,
24.
yeah,
Ken likes to round up, so I figured
Yeah.
I'd follow.
yes,
25,000.
yes. That's the fire panel and all the associated devices. The horn strobes, the pull stations. The infrastructure is going to remain, all the wiring. That doesn't have to change. This is for new devices. Roof work. This is for the panel, the devices, testing, and certification.
Yes.
Where was this advertised?
I'll turn that over to Cheryl.
I will have to look it up, I don't remember.
Was this on our website?
Yeah. Did you direct solicit?
I direct solicited 3 people. 2 of them chose not to respond.
Okay, well, that's what I'm after, so
Yeah,
this is the third one.
that's the 3rd one, yeah.
But it was on the website.
Yeah, yeah, it was advertised per county policy. And like I said, I sent out 3 direct solicitations with people that we dealt with in the past, but Knight was the only respondent.
Is this within the budget?
Yes, this is budgeted,
I know, but this is within the budgeted
Yes.
amount.
yes. I would like to look this over this morning and come back to you later on, in an hour or so. I'm not gonna be here next week, and I don't want to put it off for 2 weeks. So if you would allow me to come back later on with a recommendation.
Is that all right with you, David?
Yeah, I'm concerned, I'm sorry, Madam Chairman, I don't count putting it on the county website as something that we should put a lot of stock in. People don't come home from work and say, let's look up and see what's on the county website this week that been on. Well, I just can't believe that there's only 3 people in this New England that do this type of work. And we don't have any idea whether this is a good price or a bad price, because we've only got 1 bid. I mean, do smoke detectors wear out? Especially if you don't have a fire?
But they're not compatible, I'm sorry.
Yes.
They're not compatible with the system.
we
So
have.
if you, same thing like our nurse call. You know, if it's not compatible with, and that's the risk you take when you go out to bid. I mean, sometimes we get 7 bids, sometimes we only get 1 bid. You know, I mean, it's not a big job, you know, it's less than 25,000.
And this system is essentially, I don't want to say the same system as what's in there now, but it's many versions later of the same system that's in there now. The problem with the system that's in there now is it's proprietary. Made by Honeywell. The system that's in there now is called a notifier system, which is proprietary. You have to be a licensed dealer in order to install and maintain the systems. This is made by Honeywell, which is off the shelf. So for some reason we decide that Night Security we're no longer going to do business with. Anybody can maintain it because it's non-proprietary. And the notifier system would have been that price just for the panel, never mind the horns and strobes that come along with it. So I did do some research before I presented this, and I feel that this is the best option. But
Well, they're a good company and they're local, I agree with that,
But that being said, I would like an opportunity to review that and make sure that it's consistent with the RFP,
okay.
and would like to come back in an hour or so with a recommendation. Or something, come back with something.
Is that all right with you, David, if he comes
Yeah.
back in an hour? It's Carrie?
Yeah, that's
I don't
fine.
know what the problem is, we only got 1 bid, you gotta come back and say either yes or no.
Well, he wants to make sure it's correct.
Consistent with the RFP.
Exactly.
Okay.
So did you give them the, did you have
I
it?
have it.
Okay, now the ice maker
Now
bid.
the ice maker. Last week you opened up the ice maker bid. Again, that was only 1 respondent. And multiple solicitations were put out there along with advertising. We received a bid of $7,089.85. I reviewed it. It's consistent with the RFP that I put out, and it's a company that we're going to be doing a lot of business with in the near future.
Why?
And my recommendation is to move forward with it.
And who is it?
Pine Tree Food Equipment. They're out of Saco, Maine. They are already, we've approved them as a vendor because they're going to be servicing our kitchen equipment.
Is there any way when we get these bids that come in to have a list of who was solicited, if they were directly solicited
Sure.
and things like that?
Yeah, that's easy.
Just that we can keep it on file, so
Yep.
if someone shows up and says, well, you know, I don't think you should have gone with this one or whatever.
Yep.
It's there.
I will tell you that I direct solicited Pine Tree, I direct solicited GSK equipment, which you've signed checks for, and Cisco.
Who is GSK?
GSK is out of Manchester. They're the ones that service some of our food equipment now.
I've never heard of them.
It's because you don't sign checks. And you like this one?
Yeah, it's consistent with the RFP. It's what we want for a piece of equipment. The price is in order.
What was that? That was $7,000.
$7,089.85.
Oh, 85 cents.
Would somebody like to make a motion about that?
I'll make a motion to accept the bid from
Pine Tree Food.
Pine Tree
Equipment.
Food Equipment for a new ice maker,
Not to exceed.
not to exceed $7,089.85.
You want a second that?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the bid from Pine Tree Food Equipment not to exceed $7,089.85 for the ice maker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Would you sign that, please?
Okay, you please make a motion to give you permission to sign this.
I'll make a motion to give Commissioner Bevard the authority to sign the contract with Pine Tree Food Equipment for the new ice maker.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we did the donation. All right. Well, Bob is still here. Can we skip on down to the camera policy review? Do you have any objection? No. I would like to have added to the camera policy that no recording, is that what you call it, recordings?
You gotta give me more.
Audio or video?
No video will be used for discipline. I don't care if it's legal or not, that's not the point. The point is, I think we need to give our employees some security that this is not going to be used
Madam
for
Chairman?
discipline. Yes, sir.
Don't you have to make a motion before you can discuss it?
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we add that no videos will be used for discipline to the camera policy. Do I have a second?
I'll second for discussion.
Okay, discussion, David?
Oh, you were discussing it,
I see. I've had 2 complaints, and, you know, no matter how many times I say no, it's not going to be, if we just put it in writing, if somebody is that bad an employee, I'm sure that there will be much more than just a video search necessary. I mean, we owe respect, I believe, to our employees to trust them and say, no, we won't use the video for discipline purposes. There are other ways to get information for discipline purposes. Yes, David.
Well, why do we call them security cameras then? Are they just there to take videos of what's going on in the nursing home? The cameras have saved us quite a bit of money already in instances we've had here. I would never vote not to use this for any kind of discipline action. It may be the only evidence we have that somebody's doing something wrong.
And
Yes, I don't like the idea that it appears to be spying on our employees, but, you know, we've had a couple of serious, how about the one in the cafeteria? We would never know that was going on if that wasn't an employee, that was an outside individual who got caught on it. Yeah, I just don't see why we have security cameras if you're not gonna use them for security.
I would be willing to add for discipline of employees, if that would make you feel more secure.
No?
Ken?
So if an employee, so if a resident is abused, we're not gonna use that evidence against an employee.
How about if we put it's not to be used on a daily, to just, as you say, spy on employees, unless there has been a complaint about a specific employee, then we could go back and look.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's not used on a daily, but if there's been a complaint or something like that.
Well, that's
Yeah.
my understanding, is the camera's
That's what it-
used to verify
Verify.
something that a supervisor has been made aware of. You know, if we're having to rely on that camera to find out somebody's doing something incorrectly, then our supervisors aren't doing their job. They should be aware, they should know more about what their employees are doing. That would be my thinking. But if you want to add that, what was the phrase you used?
Not on a daily basis,
Or
but if there's a complaint lodged.
complaint lodged.
You utilize-
In
Or suspicion.
reaction,
Yes,
in reaction
I mean, I,
to a complaint.
or a supervisor suspects something, I don't know.
A written complaint.
Yeah.
It's just that people are seeing people watching the camera, and they're paranoid, thinking that they're trying to find something that's going wrong. And I just think that we owe them enough respect to put something in there to say, no, we respect them being honest,
Yep.
yes.
You just made the statement that people are seen watching the camera.
Right, I was gonna.
That's not, with all due respect, that's a very inaccurate statement.
Okay.
You don't, well, this is the last thing you do. The last thing we want to do is sit there and watch cameras. It's like watching paint dry. We act on complaints. If somebody says, oh, I saw somebody doing something, we need to investigate. And that's where we use the cameras as a tool for investigation. But we only act on complaints. We don't sit there and watch.
Can those complaints be in writing?
That's all, we already have it.
We already have that part.
Yeah.
It's already there, and it's a two-party system. You have to have two people sign off on this investigation now.
Right, but that's the only time you're doing that.
Yes.
And
Yes?
not only that, if you're a good employee, why are you paranoid that like you're being watched? I mean, I just don't understand that part.
If you're doing your job, you should have
Right.
everything to worry about.
That is
Well,
exactly
I've
what it
heard that phrase, well, you're picking on me.
is. Yeah.
So the next time you use that, I'll ask you that question.
Excuse me.
Yes. You've heard that phrase, you're picking on me.
That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about audio, I mean, video, not audio. Yeah, that's so inappropriate.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this does have the written consent. Now, is this where the employees can see it? Has this been published? Has this been somehow transmitted to them?
It's, I guess by request, I would have to answer, because we haven't made, 200 copies and handed them out to the employees, no. Or nor have.
Isn't there an email system that goes to all the employees?
No, there's a lot of people over there that don't get email. A
Okay.
lot.
Well, that's
Gary?
not true.
Can we just post this, don't you have, at the nursing home, just post it so people are aware of what the security of
If
the
that's the
cameras?
desire of the commissioners,
Well-
absolutely.
I would just think maybe that if these were posted and people could read them, then they'd have a better understanding. Do you think?
Well, we can postpone this, we'll just table it, and then post those and see what happens, if that is enough to make them feel, secure. That's the thing, yes.
So I thought Howie said that through the point-click care system, everyone has access to the email.
I don't get involved with the point-click care.
Well, Howie's coming over, I'll ask him today. And if that's the case, then we can email it to everybody. We can put it on the point-click care system,
Or posting it,
or both.
or both.
Or both. Right. I know that I have the ability to make general postings on point-click care. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, we just call it PCC.
Yeah, I have the ability to make postings on it. So between an all-staff email and a PCC post, I think that everybody would get it.
Okay. All right. It's just, I have trouble with the cameras anyways, and then when other people have complaints, and these were recent complaints, and it was like, okay, let's bring it back up. But if that's in there, and you guarantee that it's not being used without a written complaint.
I will say that it's not being abused. We use it as a tool.
After you have a written complaint.
After we have a complaint, yes. But we do not, and I have instructed my one person who has access to it that they are not to sit there and look at the cameras, period. And if somebody does happen to see this person looking at a camera, they better have an authorization to, or there'll be disciplinary action in that case.
Okay. Maybe I should refer those two complaints to you. Okay.
I don't want to be a smart guy, but are those complaints in writing, or did they just talk to you on, like, walking down the hall or something?
No, they were specific phone calls, so.
Also, they were not.
I didn't ask for it in writing, I just said that I would look into it. If it goes beyond that, once it goes into writing, I think it takes on a different life.
And I do understand that there has to be a balance, there has to be a respect of employees' rights, but there also has to be a method of security for Carroll County in all aspects. And there has to be a balance there. And we're doing, I think we're doing the best we can to balance that now. And this policy is very important in that balance. We didn't have a policy before. That's why I brought this policy forward, so we could have this balance.
Well, but I do think that it's up to the supervisors to be conscious of what's going on. Now, if the supervisor's coming to you with a written complaint, then they're doing their job, that's fine. But if it's something that's coming up and supervisors are unaware of, I don't think they're doing all that they could do. Right. All right, so do you have any problems with just leaving this? I'll make a motion to table it.
Oh, we have a motion on the floor, so what are we gonna do with it?
I'll withdraw my motion. If you withdraw your second.
Yes.
What do they call it when they put it on file? On file.
Mental note.
No, there's no mental here, it's gone. Okay. Is there anything else we need Bob for?
Yes, the Siemens project update.
Okay.
Yeah, the roof was supposed to have been done by now, but the weather has impeded that. I suspect that they're going to be 99% done with the roof today. Yesterday, before the rain came, we were able to lift up the microwave dish and do the roof underneath the microwave dish and set it back in place, realign it, and everything's working. I think the report that I got is that it's actually working better now than it was before. So.
You probably noticed walking in. The big ruts.
The crane backed up in the grass and put some ruts in the grass, but they have promised that they will fix that. And it happens.
The generator?
And the generator is scheduled to be set on Monday the 10th. Monday, June 10th.
How long will it take to get it in operating?
About a week. That week. By the end of that week, it should be connected and in service.
And we can send the rental back?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. That's the final stage. This one has to be filled up, tested, connected, ran and tested before we finally disconnect temporary one.
And you won't be here next week at all?
I won't be here next week at all.
Okay. But you will be here on the 10th when I'm
I'm
done.
planning on it.
So who do you want us to go to Carrie if you have issues?
Yes.
All right, anything else for Bob? You have anything for us?
No, that's it.
All right, enjoy your vacation.
Thank
Well,
you.
shoulder surgery,
Oh,
not quite a vacation.
that's not fun either.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing is the recruitment discussion.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, David?
we have two gentlemen sitting here from the jail. Why don't we take them first? Nobody's gonna be here except for us in the discussion of the MRI or RIM or whatever.
What are they here for?
The inmate public service project.
Oh, okay. So we'll skip down to that. Gentlemen, would you like to join us, please?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Do not wear your helmet out while you're motorcycling yesterday.
No.
You are very sunburned.
So, we went to Tufton Borough, did some cleanup. So, why do we do those things, first of all? I thought we didn't have inmates or...
Nonprofit organizations contact us from time to time, whether it be a police department, whether it be obviously the Tufton Borough Transfer Station, to ask us for inmate help. Tufton Borough called us probably about a month ago to ask for our assistance to go up and clean up the trash that kind of blew away from the trash receptacles into the wood line. Sergeant Corliss and I scheduled that for last Thursday. I think there was a couple dates that ran in. That day, we chose to take the 3 minimum sentence inmates that we had and coordinated with our programs department, because one of them is in programs Monday through Friday. We were able to coordinate with our programs department to kind of shift their schedule there. And the 3 sentence minimum inmates we had went to the Tufton Borough Transfer Station instead of the farm that day to conduct that community service project.
So normally we only have, how many inmates that normally come out?
To work on the farm, 2 Monday through Friday, because the 3rd is in programs, conducting our trust program. We got lucky and was able to coordinate with our programs department to get him free to kind of make that cleanup detail a little bit more smooth, and they finished early afternoon instead of late afternoon.
Is it usually always like, I mean, we were having one for a while.
And sometimes when we don't have, I just moved the 3rd inmate last week, right before this. He became eligible with our classification process to get moved down to our minimum security unit. So and that's where that 3rd or 2nd for the farm came into play.
Oh, okay, so we only had one for a while.
We only had one for a couple weeks or so that was eligible to come out on the farm, and then the 2nd, as programs weren't happening, was able to come out during the
Okay.
week.
We are not holding back on inmates, as you can see. I drove by the nursing home this morning, I saw the grass, I was kind of disgusted. It's like that tall. It's like that at the jail, it's like that everywhere. With just 2 inmates being able to go out. I know Will has his priorities. You know, we can't even cut our own grass.
I have a question. How often do the inmates go out and do public service work?
When we get a request from some sort of nonprofit organization, we only do nonprofits. We don't do any for-profit organizations because that's not what our work service is for. It's for all nonprofit. And it's at the request. We've done a couple of details at libraries in Conway where we've moved books for their book sales for them. We've done some painting details at some local police departments.
That was last year though, wasn't it?
Yes, and we haven't had very many this year. It's a program that when people hear about it, they contact us, but a lot of nonprofits have to get permission through their local commission and boards, and some of them don't understand the good work that our inmates do, so they decline the offer and move to other avenues.
How many times have inmates gone out since the first of the year?
One, the Stuffsboro transportation is the first of this year.
Terry, you had a question for?
I used to pick up for the food bank, and I thought it was prisoners that used to come and help us
Yep, absolutely.
at the thing.
Upon request, we
Upon request,
are all more than willing if we have the bodies and the time and we don't conflict with too many other projects that are going on throughout the county. We try to get an inmate crew everywhere we can to help out because we know that's good for the inmate population and the community itself.
What's the eligibility to be able to do that? Because I really know nothing about that.
An inmate has to be classified to a minimum security status to go out on work details, and I don't want to get into that here because it's kind of a lengthy process. And if any of the commissioners want to come over and sit down in my office and talk about that process,
Okay.
You'll understand why we only have 3. Yes, I understand there's more sentenced individuals in the facility, but it takes a while and certain criteria to get to that minimum security status.
You had a question?
Mike, it's nice that we go and do these projects. And this one started with Tuftonboro, I don't know, as long as I can remember. Where they've been going over and cleaning up
Absolutely,
the
we've been
dump.
doing that for multiple
But then we
years.
had 10 and 12 inmates to go out. I think our priorities here are taking care of our own property first. You go out here, if you were paying $390 a day to keep your loved one here, and the grass is this high because you can't mow it, the inmates can't mow it, Willie and Mark are the only ones out there, we've got to change something in order to make this work.
I absolutely agree, and that one day of the 5-day week, I didn't think it was and that was my decision because the super and the major were out on conference, that we could
No, we're
give
not
up
saying you
one
did
day.
anything wrong.
No,
We
and
were
I
just looking at it, we might have to change something in the future.
And I look on a weekly basis on how many inmates are now eligible every Monday to move down to the MSU unit, and unfortunately, with the criteria that we request and we need from those inmates, they don't meet qualifications. So until we get more sentenced and individuals in the facility, I don't see those 12, 15 that we used to have and flourish with inmate workers happening until something changes. And I don't know what that's going to be, but I totally agree that the county grounds is first and foremost, and we take that into account 100% when we get these requests from the public.
Just a suggestion, because I don't know. I would think that maybe the requirements to go out and work on the county might not be as stringent as they would be to go into the general population and work.
And I would love to talk to you about that in my office a little bit more privately and explain to you why the individuals that we have now aren't eligible. I don't think that's appropriate for the inmate
Well, no, I
population.
understand, but I'm just thinking that I would think it would be a different level, that would be an even further level, would be going out into the community, so. But like David, I get frustrated when, the grass isn't mowed, but we're taking care of that with part-time help, so.
Make a suggestion, why don't we have a non-public someday and have Mike and Batch come back in here and talk to us so that we're not crowding their office over there.
Would you be willing to do
If
that?
that's what the commissioners wish, I'd be more than happy to speak about kind of our classification and getting to that level so you have a little bit better understanding of our process. And it's frustrating for us as well because we're lacking on inmate crews as well, so.
And we're also, of course, you know, we're pushing the program. We want to help these people when they get released. We're even going so far as in between classes, Will will come over and he'll grab them for a few hours and use them. They don't bring them back for programs. We just don't have the people to put out right now.
Yeah, you probably don't have that, but do you, how many inmates or how many people came in through the jail last year? Oh, and then left, or this year and left so far?
I have numbers to date from January 1 to yesterday when I ran the numbers. Currently, we've took in, so we've accepted 418 individuals.
Wow.
Are they overnighters, Mike, or are they
I could get
checking in and
deeper
checking
in
out
those
the
numbers,
next
but
morning?
that's our intake for the year, and then our releases for that same number is we've released 382 of those 418 taken in.
So they're just coming in now.
And yesterday our current numbers were right around 40. So they're coming in, they're staying for sometimes less than 24 hours and then getting bailed out or released back on the whatever bail conditions that there are. So we're getting the inmates coming into the jail, but with the court system how it is and the bail reform how it is, they're getting let right back out in the community.
Do we have any out on work release?
Currently, we do not. We have one individual who's out on administrative home confinement. I predict by the beginning of next week, we're going to have one more individual on home confinement, and unfortunately, one of the farm workers will be on work release, as it states in his sentencing order. So we'll be down again to a constant one individual for farm work, and then that possible programs individual as they're free.
Could we schedule maybe in 2 weeks to have you come and discuss all of this with us? Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
2 weeks?
I'd like to learn more.
Okay. We'll do it in non-public so you'll feel comfortable with your...
And the comfort level is there, but it wouldn't do justice to the inmate population putting out those types of information out to them.
Understand, David?
While we've got these two gentlemen here and the boss is gone, I think, on vacation.
Yes.
Are we headed for some reporting on how the programs are working?
Yes, next week, June 5th, Kevin's coming up.
Pardon me?
I think Kevin's coming June 5th.
Kevin's coming in? Okay, good, thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions for the gentleman? Thank you for taking a walk in the rain this morning.
No worries.
Thank you.
And
It's going to stop raining someday.
weather permitting, and we will do our best to get these guys out and start cutting some grass. Right now, it's slim pickings, you know. Will's priority, of course, so.
Yeah. Well, I know from my own experience at my farm, every time I get ready to do something, it rains. I don't know why, but I still don't have my garden completely done. Thank you so much for coming over.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you. Okay. Now can we do the MRI thing, the recruitment? All right. The thing I did want to bring up is before that, the hiring policy does not have anything in it about going to an outside agency. I believe the new hiring policy had a thing, number 5, that open positions would enact a hiring committee, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to add to that, before we discuss about the, an agency.
Yeah, I just had to figure out which one was which. I have so
I
many
think
of
the one with the color is the final one.
them. No,
The one that's signed is the final one.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to sign.
Did you give us a copy of those?
No, you have your, you got your policy book now, so I'm not making all those copies.
Yeah.
But how did you people know to bring yours in?
Because it was on the agenda and I had ones, I keep everything from every meeting, so I had the old ones.
It was on that agenda thing I sent you.
I can run and grab yours off your desk, is that where it
No,
is?
mine's on, I can go get it on my desk, but what?
It's number 5.
And what do you wanna do with that?
I just think that we ought to add in there that something giving permission to hire an agency. Okay, I'll make a motion that we add to number 5, all open positions of department head or higher shall, I don't know.
I would remember
Can I-
shall, it should be may.
Can I offer a suggestion?
Sure.
How about if we leave that there and then after the supervisor hiring department, at the, you know, maybe at the recommendation of the committee that because you're not gonna always do this. So if this committee recommends to go outside to get an agency to help with the hiring, you know what I mean? Because you're not always gonna go, I mean, if you're looking for a superintendent, you're not gonna go to them. Or a nursing home administrator, or, you know, a DON, or,
What if we take out the word automatically
Yeah.
and change shall to may? And then add involve an agency or enact a hiring committee.
so all open positions of department head or higher may,
Involve an agency or,
okay, may involve an agency,
or enact a hiring committee.
Jen.
Don't you wanna make it an employment agency?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, David.
Wow.
No, it's not really,
They're not really an
Employment
employment
agency.
agency.
Or, well, whatever his technical name is, as it now, it's just as an agency, it could be
it could be experts, could
a
be,
pesticide.
no. May involve in a hiring agency.
Yeah,
There's a technical name for them.
Headhunters, but is that the
No,
technical name?
there's other names too, but
Employee agency?
just as long as we're putting a tag on it of some sort. Hiring agency
So
or,
may involve a hiring
yeah,
agency or enact
Right.
a hiring, yeah, so you're using hiring both times, hiring committee and a hiring agency.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that in line 5 of the hiring policy, we change the first line to all open positions of department head or higher may, we want may or shall?
may, because if shall means you have to, may means you may or may not.
May involve a hiring agency or enact a hiring committee. Second?
Second?
Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I,
Aye. Okay. Now we can go back and talk about a hiring committee. I just felt that if we had a policy we just passed, we ought to follow it or change it or something. Okay. So we're back up to MRI recruitment discussion. Terry?
I'm in favor of it. I was very impressed with Mr. Gould. And I was surprised by the recruitment figure that he gave us. Because I was expecting it was going to be $8,000 to $10,000, and he said it probably wouldn't go over 3,500.
But then add the 1,000 for the
The
ad.
1,000 for the ads.
So
Yeah, so,
4,500.
4,500. So
No, I forget, is that with him helping us or
Yeah, they do.
doing it?
he said that they will do all the ads. They'll write the ads, take care of and retrieve all their resumes and start the elimination process and give us
The top
Two or
three
three.
or
The
Two
top
something?
or three? Three?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, whatever they have for a pool. And he said it would be probably 90 days, depending on if the candidate that we picked had to give a notice or whatever. And I feel more comfortable because, I don't want to say this, but I just feel that I don't have the knowledge to hire a human resource person without help. I mean, I think, I'm not knowledgeable. I've worked with them, people, but I would feel better if we had someone that really has the expertise to do that. But that's my personal feelings.
David?
This whole thing confuses me. You two are adamant about hiring a human resource person. You seem to know that we need one, and yet when it comes to hiring one, you have no idea what you're looking for the person to hire. I mean, if you know we need one, I would think that you wouldn't need an expert out there to tell us what to do. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I'm voting no.
Terry?
David, do you have confidence in yourself to hire one if you were doing it on your own?
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
I was right on the last one.
If we go this route, to help cut costs, I think we should have the HR directors from a couple of counties come and sit in the interviews of the candidates.
Right.
That way we've got,
At the end?
Yes.
Yes, I agree with that,
Expertise.
yeah.
and not involve MRI in it, or RMI, whatever they're called. As far as, because it's $75 an hour, I don't think we need them to help us choose.
No, but they'll eliminate the ones,
Yep.
and we don't have to worry about, all that stuff, and they'll give us the last 2 or 3.
Well, I truly believe that we need a human resource director. I do not believe that I am qualified to be able to pick and choose between 5 or 6 good candidates, because the nuances involved are something that I think an expert that's involved in hiring should be involved with. That's why I think an outside agency, David, is what's important. Some of the hiring processes that have been done here, the results have not been what I would consider good. And you and I have both been somewhat involved in those. So, my experience hasn't been a positive one with hiring people. That's why I think an outside agency is the thing to do. I think this one, I had spoke to him quite a while ago, and then recently, his presentation I just thought that they're professionals, that's what their job is, that's what they do on a regular basis. You know, if I think that makes them experts. And this is a very, very important job, and I think we should have experts do it. David?
Madam Chairman, I think that I'd like to ask you, not here in public, but tell me name the employees that we, as you and I and Mark, which have sat here and hired, because I can't remember any of them. I can't remember being on a board to hire anybody except for signing the papers. Maybe I'm wrong, getting old, my memory's going, but I don't remember running an interview process for anybody.
Well, no, but we've reviewed their applications.
Well, you
and
can pick it up and
approved
look at it for 30 seconds, and you call that an interview? I don't.
Well, I didn't say interview, I said we've been part of the hiring process. And we've let the people here that we thought knew what was going on, and it hasn't been successful. You yourself have complained about the
Yes.
results.
I have.
And that's why I feel something this
But
important.
we haven't been involved in sitting down and hiring any of them. It's all been through the ladder or the employment ladder here. It hasn't been, I have the confidence that I can do it myself if I'm given the opportunity, but we haven't been in that situation. We've signed a paper that somebody else says, you know, we've checked their references and the whole shebang, but we haven't been involved from day one of hiring somebody.
Carrie?
But I think we have that opportunity now, Dave. We just don't have to go through all the basic steps. We'll end up with 2, 3, 4 good candidates that we can choose from.
I
And
have
we'll
the
be-
confidence that I can look at an application and get some idea whether the person's a good candidate or not. And then when we get a personal interview, narrow it down.
See, I don't know. I'm sitting here and I think that if we have experts that do that for us and they get us down and they come in here and they say, here are 2 or 3 excellent candidates. You know, then we know that they're basically on the same par. And, you know, the stuff that we might be conned with, they've seen it and they've eliminated it. And I think that that's worth an awful lot. And then we know that when we have the interview with them, we know that we are interviewing the best that's out there. And then we can choose. Then we can use your skills to choose.
Go ahead and vote 2 to 1. Not a problem. It's the majority of the board.
Yes, sir.
If you go this route, I like the fact that they send out, what do you say, a survey or
Yes, and eliminate like a third to begin with, yeah.
it's not a survey, what was it?
Questionnaire.
Yeah,
Like
sort of
five or 6 questions,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, a lot of people just won't want to answer them.
Right.
And that's what he said, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, they know the tried and true things that work, you know, because they've been doing it. It's not just 3 randomly chosen people that, you know, have all kinds of different background experiences.
Okay.
But, yeah. All right, but we need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we hire MRI Recruitment for the HR Director position. And I don't believe we have to do an RFP because it's under the 5,000. If I'm correct.
Well, there's a $2,500 caveat you gotta carve out.
I think it's gonna be more than $3,500.
Well, no, in the what's it called? The bidding process, and they go over $2,500, gotta get 3 quotes, and So I don't know.
But this is an agency. Isn't this different than a product?
But by the law, by the RSA, yes, but by our policy, it's not. Because we've tried that before. And, say someone just dropping off mulch, again. Let me just read it real quick because I have it right here, so.
Jim,
Yes, David?
these people have a pretty good reputation in their field. And I'll make a motion that we go with, one vendor. Because we know the history of this company. And I put also in not to exceed, what was his price, $7,000?
Well, that was, yeah, but I think we could even go like 5,000.
So the policy states anything over purchase of goods or services. So the goods or services is what we put in our policy. But the RSA only says purchase of goods.
Okay, so under the RSA, we're all set because it is an agency, it's services, but
But
our
not our policy.
Carroll County's policy.
And all three of you, to waive that, would have to vote in the yes.
And that's the motion you just made, right?
Yeah, not to exceed $5,000.
I'll second that. Can we do that when we've already got a motion on the floor?
What was it? Do we have a motion?
But it wasn't seconded.
Okay.
Okay. Would you please read the motion that is on the floor that was seconded, Cheryl?
Okay, Commissioner Babson motion to go with one vendor, MRI, because they have a good reputation. And I didn't, what else did you say? Up to $5,000, not to exceed 5,000. Yeah.
$5,000.
Which includes the advertising fee.
Yeah.
To include the advertising fee.
Okay, well, I think we're getting, he's saying we can go with one person, without it going out to bid. Okay, that's the first thing. So all those in favor of that motion say aye.
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 Now, the second motion on the table that was not seconded was the one Terry made. Would you read that wasn't seconded?
Commissioner McCarthy motion to hire MRI to recruit an HR director. There was no second.
I will second that. See, we had to have David's motion in order to make that legal. Okay, is there any more discussion?
No.
All those in favor of the motion to hire MRI, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Aye. Or nay, or whatever you want to vote.
Now I'm totally
Wait a minute.
confused. Are you voting to hire MRI?
The motion was to hire an MRI, and I'm voting no.
Okay, well, we just need that
But I
clarified.
wanted to, if you two were obviously gonna win, I didn't want to stand in the way of stalling this thing for another 2 months, go to MRI. That's why I made the motion. It passed, and now when the motion comes up, I vote against it, so. You can get your way and hire them, so it's no problem.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so David's motion's still on the floor. You haven't voted on that.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
We voted on David's motion and it passed.
I passed.
I
All
only
three of
had a
us.
second. Did you hear the motion?
Yes,
The vote?
yes, we did vote.
Okay. I didn't hear the
It
vote.
was unanimous.
Okay.
We can vote again on David's motion, all right? Vote aye.
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 Yeah,
I heard 5 ayes.
okay, so we got it. I'm sure the
So we're
ayes have it.
covered.
Okay. The procedure to do that, to hire MRI. Did he, I didn't remember from the
just
film
have
that
to-
he said what to do.
You just call him and he'll send out a contract, I believe.
How are we gonna pay for it? That's the first thing. Because we don't have a line item that pays for agency.
Okay.
We have. I don't
Or
know
special
what budget-
fees.
Special fees and services,
Mhm.
yep.
Is there enough money in there? Did
Well,
we-
there's no line to hire, there's no, I mean, there's nothing that
Doesn't that
that
come
fits
under
in there.
special fees and services? Isn't that a special service?
well, they're all got, subcategories underneath that. It's not just one line. You could put it under the commissioner's, we have an advertising line, but I don't know, that's. It's not really a legal fee, not really an auditor.
Well, $1,000 of it can go under advertising, correct? He's going to do advertising of around $1,000.
Yep.
But, we have used a little bit of that for the admin assistant Indeed. So I think we have. Yeah, it's probably a couple $100. Yeah, so we have over $1,000 for the advertising. And then we'll have to make a transfer somewhere.
Well, we need to come up with a new line, is that what we have to do?
I mean, we can't because the budget's already been made. We'd have to have a whole, supplemental budget just for that line, and I don't want to go there. So we can try to find some place to put it. I'm sure. There's other fees and services in nursing home admin. We just don't have a general line in our budget.
We can take it out of the nursing home agency fund.
I don't know, I mean,
That's only easy.
I'll put it in the nursing home because then,
Okay, so we'll give you a few days.
yeah.
I just thought it was special fees and services. I never went any further in that.
Yeah, no, there's subcategories underneath that.
All right, so we seem to be ahead of schedule, which is always good.
It's a good thing.
So I guess we're down to the commissioner coordinator. I asked to have that put on the agenda because last week it was brought up that we're paying a bookkeeper to take our minutes. And the bookkeeper could be much more valuable in her office doing her regular work. And the same way with other things, the bookkeeper writing the minutes and doing all of this, that the suggestion was that maybe it would be much better use of her time if she were in the office being a bookkeeper instead of up here taking notes. So, we've had one in the past, is that right, David? We had
Whoa.
someone that did notes, minutes.
Over the years, there's been outside secretaries. So, the Board of Commissioners from as long as I can remember.
And they were quite inexpensive, weren't they,
No,
compared to a bookkeeper's salary?
I don't remember what they paid them.
So I have a couple things. One's a procedural question. That if you're gonna be talking about this person here, that we do it in non-public about anything.
We're talking about a bookkeeper versus a, what did you call her?
A minute taker, is what he said.
Those positions.
So, two, if you look at the performance audit, it's recommended that the administrative assistant take the minutes. That's why Cheryl's been doing them, because you've been doing both jobs. So if you're gonna follow the performance audit, the recommendation is the admin assistant take the minutes.
But that would pull her out of the office, where we truly, truly need the person. We've been saying.
I'm just saying, that's what the recommendation is.
You have a comment, Mary?
But we don't have the administrative assistant up here. How long is it gonna take her to be able to fill in up here?
I don't, we haven't talked about it. We have to ask Cheryl. She's the one who's been taking minutes for years.
David?
I'm not in favor of any changes. I think that we're lucky to have I've seen probably close to 10 minute takers in here in the years I've been coming in here. And you can't set a value on how good the minute taker and how accurate they are. And I think Cheryl does an excellent job. And I think we'd be, that's not to say that our new assistant downstairs wouldn't do a good job. But the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know.
But
And you're not the devil, a devil risk, I guess I better.
I don't think we're questioning Cheryl's ability or the work
Oh,
she
no.
does. I'm just saying that they seem to be so stressed out down there that we could get someone that doesn't need to be as qualified or overqualified. I don't know.
Well, it's the position of bookkeeper, has a whole set of values with it. Whereas a minute taker doesn't need any of those values, qualifications,
Right.
and certainly wouldn't be as expensive. Was the point, I think, was being brought up, and the fact that sometimes our meetings do go long, and it is, I can see where the taxpayer would think that it would be much more economical if we had a minute person versus a bookkeeper doing it. Cheryl?
It was just said that we were stressed out downstairs, and I don't think anybody here has the right to say what I am feeling, or anybody else in that office, if we're feeling stressed out or not.
Well, I don't think it was personal. I think what we're talking about was that for the past year and a half, we have been begging the delegation for a new position down there, saying that the level of work and stress that's been put on the bookkeeper and the financial director has been tremendous because there's been a third person needed down there. And now you have that third person. Although that third person's not up to speed, the administrative assistant needs to be taught. And it's my understanding that education is going on, but it's going to be a while before they're up to speed. Am I correct in that evaluation?
It's going to be a while, yes,
Yes.
because it was put off by the delegation and it was put off by the commission.
Well, that doesn't matter why. The fact is,
Well, then don't say that we're stressed out, because you don't know. Maybe you haven't even talked to us about it. I'm just saying, I don't think that was.
excuse me, I'm not sure that is something that you should have taken personal. We are talking about the office and the people, the positions in the office.
No, what was said was the people down there are so stressed out. That's what was said. If that's not what was meant, fine, but that's what was said.
Moving on, I think that we should have a different person besides the bookkeeper taking the minutes. I think it would be an economical, favorable thing to do. Now, David, whether we can find one that does a good job, we can try using your hiring abilities to
Well,
see,
wait.
you know.
Why do you don't need to do that?
Well, no, but your hiring abilities, we can try and see how they work. That's what you said, you felt very confident about hiring people, and you've been here, and
You know,
you've
why
been
don't
through
you
10 of
just
them.
run your mouth and your business here? I will say what I say. I don't need you sitting here telling me what I said. You asked me if I thought I could go through the applications for an HR person, and I said yes. That's all I've said. You do your own thinking here and run the show like you should.
Well, I'm sorry if I have hit a soft spot. Yes.
Can we table this till next week, and so we can talk about it more? Because I think it's getting a little,
You know,
that's getting heated, yeah, and I don't think that's,
Well, I think we have an appointment at 10 o'clock, and I would like to move on to that if we could. I believe he has arrived.
yes.
yes, he has.
Executive Counselor Mike Cryans. Sir, would you go over there? There we go, thank you.
Is this a map of all the towns you've run through, Mike?
That's right.
Hi, Matt, how are you?
Good morning, everyone.
So, Counselor, do you know all the commissioners?
Well, obviously, I know one very well because I served with him while I was a county commissioner in Grafton County, and obviously would see David at a number of events. And
Keep you sleeping
I
in the
know you,
corner.
Ken. I know Joe Costello. I know Damon from the paper, and I've read about because I get the Carroll County Conway Daily
Oh, good.
Sun, so I read about your minutes and stuff like that, and I know Terry McCarthy's husband, because I've seen him in the legislature, and I don't know Amanda Bevard that well, but I've read in the accounts of the paper and stuff like that. So I guess I could say get a pretty good handle on most of the people in the room. I don't.
This is Cheryl Laurent. She takes the minutes.
Hi, Cheryl. How are you? Good morning. So, and what I've tried.
Representative Comeau is behind the camera.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And Mr. Brown is a resident of Wakefield.
Which town, Mr. Brown?
Bobby,
Which town?
Wakefield.
Wakefield. I've been to Wakefield. In fact, I think the last time I was here, I ate at the Wakefield Diner. I think I had meatloaf. So what I've tried to do is, since my election and then the swearing in January, is made a commitment to go to all of the towns in the district in which Carroll County, every one of your towns is in the district.
Wow.
So, so you can see that on the TV. It's a pretty good sized district. It's about 2/3 of the state. So when I was sworn in, I made a commitment to go to all of the towns, the 4 cities, and by June 1st, I've achieved that. I've got to all of them.
Wow.
And in visiting each one of them, I usually not necessarily go to a formal meeting like this, but go to the town office. I didn't want to just drive through the town and say, oh, I've driven through. So I go into the town office, I introduce myself. Sometimes they have a thorny issue that all of a sudden you'd expect a small little town to have very few people, and I think one town I went into had almost 15 people waiting to see me. I knew there was something going on. And some in Carroll County, I guess, is the only time I've had to leave the state to find a town, Chatham. Kind of an interesting route, but in fact, it was kind of interesting that day, and I'll just digress for a second. I followed this little gizmo, which I normally try not to do, but I did. And all of a sudden, I get to this house, and I look over, and there's a couple of men working on the outside, and I could see the sign on the truck, Consolidated. So I said, I think I'm in the wrong spot. And they said, what do you mean? I said, this says where the town office is. Oh, you got to go back, take a right, go up the hill. It's there. This is Chatham. So I got there, and I explained to the lady, I said, I would have been here a few minutes earlier, but I went down the wrong road. She said, oh, we used to work out of that, like while this building was being built. I said, that's my house. She said, well, I said, I'll let you know. You got a couple of guys from Consolidated that are installing whatever they're supposed to install. So she appreciated the update. So what I've been doing is, well, in addition to that, so I can dovetail with the counties, there are all or parts, first of all, there's 10 counties in New Hampshire, all the parts of 7 counties. I have all of Grafton, Coas, and Carroll. Then I have parts of Sullivan, and a good portion of Sullivan and Belknap, and a little bit of Stratford and Merrimack. So I made a commitment to, in addition to going to all the towns and all the cities, is to go to each one of the county commissioners' meetings. So you're the 4th one. I've still got Stratford, which I'm sure George McLaris will probably have a feast for me that day, don't you think, David?
Yes.
And Merrimack and Belknap. So that's my route. I'm trying to get around, and for a variety of reasons. One, to introduce myself, because obviously some things that go through the state will affect your operations at times, and I want to make sure you know that if you need to get a hold of me, either through your Board of Commissioners or through your Executive Director or County Administrator, whatever your title is, Ken, that you can touch base with me. So I'll leave you my business cards and stuff like that. But also, being a former county commissioner, and I've certainly conveyed this to the governor and the other 4 councilors, that county government is very important to me. For 19 years, I was a county commissioner, and when I was in Eaton, I saw the other David.
Oh, Sorensen.
What's that?
Jake Sorensen.
Yes, yeah, he was up there as a select board member, and I remember when the 2 Davids were there. So I had a visit with him about, and I tried to convey that county government to the governor and the other councilors is very important. Obviously, what you do with the jails, what you do in the nursing homes, and all your other functions are so important. And sometimes people say the executive council is a lost form of government that people don't know about. I truly believe a lot of people don't know county government until they have to use it. And most of the time, in a good way, it's through the nursing home, where you have people come in. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's on the other side, through the county jails. And I think the county jails are also a good, sort of, for lack of a better term, petri dish for what's going to happen next. And because a lot of times, whether it's whatever drug crisis is coming, quite often you see it first in the county jails. And I think the methamphetamines is a good example. Usually you see that very early in the county jails, before the state prison, before a lot of other places. And so that's why I'm here. I don't have any major issue, but I'm more than willing to answer any questions that you might have. And but I do want to convey to the 3 of you, Ken, and to anyone else in the county government, to your delegation, if you need to get a hold of me, certainly make sure that they know they can reach out to me. Because I've turned this into, for me, a full-time job. I don't work, so therefore I got the time to do it. So each and every day, I have something to do. If you want, and some people enjoy getting it, you can get my calendar and also a copy of the agenda for the meeting after it's been approved and stuff like that, the items. So that is sent out by Megan Rose. So some people like getting that calendar, and today's a good example. somebody saw my calendar, excuse me, and they said, I saw you in the area, would it be possible you could come over to Sandwich and look at our roads? So, not only have I driven a lot of roads, but I've looked at a lot of roads. It seems like roads and water are two big issues that you hear an awful lot about. So, I'm more than willing to answer any questions that you might have. And final thing, David, just before that, just in case you want to put it into your minutes, if you want to get on my calendar list, which would be a weekly calendar you would get, and also a copy of the completed agenda, send it to Megan, MEAGAN, .rose@nh.gov. So, David, you have a question?
Yeah, you sort of stole my question while you were speaking, but it was going to be, Mike, I believe you're the only counselor that has had any county government experience. I don't think any of them have been a commissioner other than you.
Oh, of the current body?
Yes.
No.
The question is, do you find them supportive of county government, or where they're, I guess, represent the most half of the dense half of the state? Are they really involved in county government? Do they see the benefits for rural areas?
Well, it's a little difficult, because I think, I have my first, we each have a chance to put our council meeting. I've been a commissioner so long, and sometimes interchange the two. We each have a chance to put our council district on display. And I chose Littleton because it was my hometown, where I was born and brought up, and where I started in politics with Hugh Gowan, who was governor. Well, he was actually trying to be governor when I first started with him a long, long time ago. And, my mom just passed away almost a year ago now. And so she lived in the same house that we grew up in for a long, long, long time, probably close to 70 years. So I decided to bring it back there for two reasons. One, and it goes to your point, David, I'm not sure that not only the other counselors, but a lot of people are that aware of rural New Hampshire. It's a different ball of wax. It's I mentioned one time at a meeting that when we were interviewing the soon-to-be new commissioner of Department of Safety, on his, I requested that he certainly spend time in the North Country, and I appreciated the efforts that the state police do in covering some of these small towns. And someone threw back, well, why don't the local police do it? And I said, because a lot of them, if they have a police department, in a lot of these small communities, it's one person. And when they're done for the night, that's it. It's not like Deputy so-and-so comes on or anything. So I think it's certainly incumbent upon me to make sure that they get out and see some of the communities. And some are doing very well within our district, and yet some are struggling extremely because of the, you just see, I think parts of it is in Carroll County, you probably have some towns that are very vibrant, and then you probably find some that are having a tougher time. I know in Coas County, it's very visible. In fact, right now in Coas County, there's roughly the same number of people that live. I come from Hanover, live in Hanover and Lebanon. So you got this two little towns here. They have the same number of people that live in the top, probably 25% of the state. So, there's some issues that I've tried to convince people are extremely important. Is the exodus of young people, and how do we keep our young people? Because I'll give you one quick example. I was up campaigning in Berlin one day, and the person I was with said, hey, go around and say hi to everybody. We were at the dairy bar up in Berlin. You know that well, Joe. And he said, go around and say hi to everybody. I said, well, do people want you? interrupting. They're so used to it, they love it. So I went around and there were 4 women all sitting there, probably out for the afternoon, eating their lunch, and I said, is there any issues that concern you? And without missing a beat, the lady said, look around, there's no young people. And she said, we've had a good life here, but there's no young people. And that's an issue that is, it's a difficult one, because how do we keep our young people in, you know, a lot of times you pick up the rural newspapers and you see a lot of obituaries for people at 85 to 95. You see very few birth announcements and very few wedding announcements. I'm not sure that's a strong prescription for a successful area. So to go back to your question, David, more succinctly, I can't answer for the other 4 how they view, but you're right. There's 80% of our population, you know, and right here, this little orange one, it's hard to believe sometimes that all the people that are here could fit in there. And yet somebody said, it's hard to believe. I said, you know, the crazy thing is, there's actually probably more people here than here, because that was done 10 years ago. And you know they're moving in faster, the Portsmouth and the Seacoast. In some places, they're moving out here. Excuse me. So I don't know if I've answered your question, David. If they appreciate it or not, if they know it, but that's one of my jobs, is to make sure that they know more about it, both from the geographic issues and also the role the county plays. In fact, just so you'll know, back in April, I had my turn, and it was held at Primex, where we had the county, sort of county government month. And I think it coincided with your meeting, because it was on a Wednesday. So, I think county government does a lot of wonderful things, and as long as I'm there, I'm going to make sure they don't forget it, Dave.
Are we getting a fair share of nominees accepted for your district?
It's a little frustrating in a way, because it seems like, and I'm not, and a lot of my, you know, in fairness to the governor, a lot of them are people that have served for a number of years. They're just getting renewed. So it's not like he's just pulling people around. But there is a mindset out there that people north aren't as inclined to come and serve. And the one I always use is an old county commissioner we served with, Bing Judd. I said, if we had a meeting down in Concord, Bing Judd, a lot of times was the first person there. And he drove from Pittsburgh, which is as far north as you can go, to Concord. And so people, and every time we've had somebody from my district, I always ask, well, I ask the same question of all, but I always ask him, I said, you know it's a little further to go to your meetings than it is if you lived right down there. And I always have 2 questions. I said, one, that you will make a commitment to attend the meetings. Because I said, first and foremost, that's crucial. And the second thing is that you come well prepared. And if you do those 2 things, you're going to do just fine in most cases, because some people sometimes say, oh, I want to go on a board so I can put on my resume. But most of the people I've seen that are really committed to doing it, and the people from our district, we probably don't get as many as if you're right around Concord. But I've been really promoting, please get your resume to me, get it to the governor's office, and express stuff that you're interested in. I said, my feeling always has been about a volunteer board. It's find something that you want to serve on. For instance, if you get put on a board for aging, make sure that you want to be involved with senior issues. So, you know, it's like the old coach that doesn't like baseball but signed up because he had to be the baseball coach. It's not going to work out very well. So.
Well, I was...
How are you this morning?
I'm well. Good morning.
Good to see you, thanks.
How do you let people know? Most people don't realize the amount of nominations you people get for various boards. How do you know that there's an opening? Like when the Commissioner's Agricultural Advisory Board opens up, you never know about it unless you're interested in agriculture. I mean, doesn't seem to be any announcement of any of these positions where we could get some of the northern county people involved. Does your webpage, don't worry, we're not trying to kill you.
I know, I saw them upstairs on the roof.
Does the, I lost train of thought, but,
Well, what I've done is try to help.
oh,
a
do
little
you
bit.
put it on your
I put it
webpage,
on,
their openings?
No, I put on, I put out something occasionally, an update of what I'm doing. In fact, I'm getting ready to put one out and say if anyone's interested in serving one. We have tried to get an advanced list from the governor's office of potential nominees, not people, but positions. Because sometimes you're talking and somebody will say, well, this position's been open for a while. Well, we can't get anybody who wants to serve. I'm a pretty firm believer that if you get it out there, there's somebody out there that wants to do it. Joe, you had your hand up here.
Yeah, just trying to talk with Commissioner Babson about that issue. I can't stress the importance of being on mailing list that Executive Council of Finance has, because you also do get the agenda of the Executive Councilor's meeting, and at the end of the agenda, it also shows the nominees that they put in place for the various openings. As you go through that packet, I get an email, unfortunately, it does show that there's vacancies. And it also has a place to let them know if you know of anybody or would like to become a person involved with any one of those situations. So, you know, I can't say enough about the good things that Executive Councilor Cryans is doing. I've had the opportunity to work with him in the previous occasions on a number of things, and I'm pleased to see he's doing everything that he's said he would do. And but I just make the case to make sure you get on that mailing list.
Ken, you had a question?
Yeah, thank you. Sir, we seem to have an issue in the county here that when we get grants, we get like 10,000, 15,000, you know, and it seems like the northern 2/3 always gets left out of those grants, or we get what we call crumbs or morsels. And I know it goes by population, and is there anything coming up, or is there anything that you can do to ensure that your district gets grants that actually mean something, and we can actually use the money for something, as opposed to, you know, 20,000 a year, 10,000 a year?
I think there's a couple of ways to answer that. One, if you are interested in the grant and you know it's to a specific area, if you could let me know.
Okay.
You know, for instance, a completely different subject. Today, just as I'm about to drive in here, I called down to Department of Transportation because three different entities had contacted me regarding speed limits in different areas. And so I called down, and they have the person who runs that are going to call me back. I have found that the responsiveness to me as a counselor, and I don't say it's because it's me, it's because of the job, it's pretty remarkable. People get back to you. My favorite story is when I first was sworn in, and I probably had been in the office all of 2 weeks. I'm driving up to Bethlehem to go to the New Hampshire Society for the Protection of the Forest volunteer luncheon. So I'm driving along, the phone rings, and the guy said, my representative said, you're the one I should connect with. He said, I got a problem. I said, what's your problem? He said, well, the ice is coming down the river, and I think it's going to push my house off the foundation. Well, that's pretty heady thing to have somebody tell you. He said, what can you do for me? I said, you know, I don't know what I can do for you, but I know who I can call. And this was a Sunday afternoon. I called both the head of DOT and the head of Homeland Security. Both of them, within seconds, got right back to me. And they responded. And so there's only 5 of us. As I say, I pulled something that Ray Burton often said, everyone deserves an answer. You might not like the answer you're gonna get, but everybody deserves an answer. So it's not always yes, sometimes you're gonna get the crumbs on that deal. But at least if you knew you did your best, you can't ask for any more. That's how I view it. If all of us, excuse me, if you would have said, geez, I should have contacted Mike, and then you call me after the fact, and I said, well, yeah, so-and-so contacted me, and they got twice as much as you did. You'd say, boy, I wish I had done it. So,
Okay.
my phone number's on the card, Ken. You know how you can get a hold of me, and I certainly will do whatever I can to, because that's my job. You know, constituent service is a big part of it. If I just wanted to do the very minimum, I could get up in the morning on a Wednesday every 2 weeks and go to Concord. But I have the time, I have the enthusiasm for doing it. I feel it's important, and I know a lot of people worked hard to get me here, and I want to make sure I work hard to do what I'm supposed to be doing.
Thank you.
Hi, one of the things that we found a lot of the communities are working on is broadband, and the hope is that it would help with the younger population. But it's very, very expensive. And there are laws coming out of Concord, and there is money coming out of Concord. And if you could just remember that we're all up here, and we would like to be connected, I think that would be a big piece.
Well, we know that's so important. Broadband, I've had numerous communities throughout almost all parts of this district saying that, my kid goes home from school and we can't get coverage. So they're left behind in doing their homework. I'm trying to start a small business, and I wouldn't mind moving up to such and such. And we moved to certain spots, it works fine. But I've got a house in XYZ and I can't get coverage. I like to sit down in the evening and do my stuff on the computer when I get home from work. I can't do that because we don't have high-speed internet. So, I mean, it's for all those reasons, but you're right. Especially if you've got, I got one that just graduated from college 2 weeks ago, and they're on these things like it's attached to their body, and I hate to say it, sometimes I think we get all too attached to it, but that's just a rhetorical comment. But it's important that you have internet connection and at a high speed. So it's an issue that comes up a lot, and I'm not sure that any one person's going to have an answer. I don't think, especially any one community, I think it's going to take a lot of concerted effort. And it's more costly for them to do it here than it is for them to cover this area because 80% of the people are there.
And that's where we could use your support, I'm sure.
Okay. I'll do my best.
Thank you. That is appreciated. Terry, did you have any questions?
I
Do you have anything,
will.
Howard?
Howard, did you have anything?
No, just want to continue to thank you. The executive council, Mike follows clearly in the footsteps of Ray Burton. Anytime I call, I get a response, or these days email, get a response. It's a real pleasure having you in the office.
Well, thank you, Howard. Thank you. And I will say that Jason invited me over to do a tour of your jail, which I did maybe a month ago or so now. Time slips away. And,
Kind of different from yours, isn't it?
well,
There's no marble floors when you walk in.
No.
no.
No hotel kitchen in it either.
Or the Glen Libby lobby. So, but each county is a little different, and but they all do wonderful work. And so I guess I would say I've got some nice kudos. I would say continue doing good work because there's a lot of people in your county that rely upon you to get the services that they need. And so that's what you learn in county government pretty early on. Is, I bring back Ray one more time, as we'd go down for lunch and we'd say, boy, it's hard to believe we just did something that affected the people's lives here, Now we're about to go eat lunch with them. And it's kind of a different type of government where you don't see that in too many other areas. I'm not sure you see it in any other area because whether you're a select board in towns or even at the state level, I don't think you see that. Just like a county government, it's a different type of government. So I will leave this, I'll leave you some business cards so you can get them around, Ken, to different people that you think might need them.
Okay.
And any final words of wisdom, David, before I leave?
I don't have any. I have a constituent that needs your help, and I'll get a hold of you.
Okay, good.
Are you still biking a lot?
Running, yeah.
You passed 100,000 miles 3 weeks ago, 4
March
weeks ago?
30th, March 30th, yeah. Yeah, so from the time I turned 40 to 68, 28 years, 100,000 miles.
Nike give you a big donation for your campaign?
No one, nothing. No.
Adonis
So,
or Adidas or whatever the sneaker.
Now I've got, I'm in a streak. My goal now is to run every day from the day I turned 60 to turn 70, and I'm almost 8.5 years into that one. So,
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Counselor, tell them your best time in the Boston Marathon.
2:27.
2:27 is world-class time.
Wow.
That was a lifetime ago.
Well,
That was a lifetime ago.
You earned that, you carry that with you the rest of your life. That's quite a testimony.
Somebody said to me one time, hey, you ran a little faster than I did. I said, no, my half marathon time, you ran faster for the marathon. That was kind of a funny comment. So, well, thanks.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you, and
Thank you
I'll
so
leave
much.
this stuff.
Yes, sir.
And it's good seeing you all, good seeing you, David.
Can I get a card?
Yep.
Thank you.
Everything okay?
Yeah, well, just David.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go, so I got the transportation for it.
Okay, okay.
Talking to him.
Okay, thank you.
We do our best to keep you busy.
Get it easy. Thank you again.
It's a nice show.
Mike, for Christmas, we want to get you a bigger district.
Thanks. Yeah, and I'll hand some out to other people. Thanks. Bob's back with his recommendation.
Okay. Bob's back.
Oh, please, yeah. Ken, could you get us each a copy of that map?
Sure, absolutely.
For next week?
Yep.
Yeah. That
Well, I'll scan it to you, and then I'll make copies for you too.
that would be very nice, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for seeing me again. I have reviewed the night security alarm proposal, and in all cases, it's consistent with the RFP that I put out. It's consistent with the budget, and I recommend that you award the contract to them.
I'm going to have to ask you if I could see that,
Of course.
please. Oh, it's right here, never mind, I have it, I have it.
Are there any signatures required?
Yes.
Okay.
3 or 1?
Well, there's one line, but I don't care who signs it, as long as I have at least one.
Okay, I'll wait a motion on this.
Oh, I'll second.
Well, someone's got to name.
There's no motion.
Oh, I thought you said she made a motion.
No, no, no.
If you'd like to
I'll
make
make
the
a
motion.
motion, we award the fire panel bid to Night Security of Wolfboro, New Hampshire for a price not to exceed $24,492.
Now I can second?
Yes.
And would you authorize her, the chairman?
And
to-
authorize Margaret to sign it.
Okay, second. All
Yeah.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
No discussion?
I thought we discussed it. Would you like to have something to discuss, David?
Yes.
What is that?
Bob, how long is this project gonna take?
I would imagine it's gonna take them a few weeks to gear up, and then once the installation starts, I can't imagine it taking more than a few days.
Yeah, if we're awarding the bid to them, is there any, problem with twisting their arm? Why are we paying 50% out up front? We're not going anywhere, they know we're here.
I think it's to cover the materials. There's a fair amount of materials that are going into this
Okay.
project, and they're fairly asking us to cover that cost, so they don't have to have it.
And if that's the cost of the materials, that's fair. Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion?
No.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for getting back so quickly with that.
That is all, thank you.
Thank you. The pleasure of the commissioners, do you want to continue and finish the discussion on the commissioner coordinator, or do you want to do that in the future?
Future for me.
Yeah, future. We'll come up with some facts and figures,
Oh,
maybe, for the next one.
And I think it ought to be done in non-public.
Okay. The HR job description, we had one for the county. I had asked Alan, the man that did the
Gould?
performance review.
Pennington.
Pennington. Several times I've asked him for some HR, and I've gotten nothing in response. And then you had given us some from Belknap, is that right?
No, from Rockingham, and then I sent you hours that you requested last week.
Right.
Do you want me to reach out to Mr. Pennington and ask him?
Well, he had said that he would send us several job descriptions
Oh,
for
he
the
did?
upper echelon, and I had asked three times now. And,
Has he responded at all?
no.
That's weird.
Well, I did get one that said that he would get them to me within the week, but I haven't heard from him since.
All right, so I'll email him and see if I can get him, and I'll send him right over to you.
All right, now, so I would expect that the other Alan, Gould, would have HR descriptions. Or is he waiting for one from us?
We didn't talk about that. So I guess when you engage him, I guess,
He would come up with
I don't know.
some suggestions. Okay. Is there anything else anyone had to?
Oh, no, this is the one for the nursing home.
Yes, you asked for all that we have.
Okay.
But the agenda was a review of the HR job description.
Well, I don't know what it was.
I didn't put that on
Oh.
there. I don't know who did.
Oh, I did. I didn't know where we left it. You had asked for them last week, so I didn't know if you
Oh, okay, so this was just a,
wanted to you want to do one, you want to make one, you want to
The,
get some from Alan. I mean, I don't know.
Terry, David, either of you have any suggestions or additions or changes? Wow. You've seen the original, right?
is that, yeah, I think so. Is that your writing? that from you?
That could be. Looks like mine. That's the assistant, though. That was, you had asked for something about about the assistant, and I happen to have that one, and I gave that to you. But I was talking about the HR director. We were talking about some descriptions or changes or whatever, and Ken came up with those from Rockingham. There, I finally found it. And the ones from ours. But the one from ours was, I gather, was old, right? 2007, is that right? That was the date on it.
Then I guess, those are the ones that I could find.
Right. So, are those all right for a guideline for now, or is there anything you'd like to change with it? Or wait to see what Alan
Yeah, let's wait. See what-
Gould comes up with? Okay. All right, so one. And then the next is the MVC CBA.
Okay. So the union signed them, I need the commissioners to sign them, so we can finally close them.
There were no changes, were there?
Nope, well, only the ones that they did. I mean, only the ones that we negotiated. One's single-sided and the other's double-sided.
Why are we just signing this now?
I just got it back from the union. They had a hard time getting signatures.
Is this what the delegation approved money for?
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys have to sign them.
Oh, we signed,
Yeah, because the union signed them, now you guys have to sign. Remember, you said you signed them last, is what the policy has always been.
But the delegation already approved the
Yeah,
money for this.
yep, everything's in the budget, and this is the same contract that we've had, with the one with the 40 cent this year, 60 cent next year, the market rate adjustment, the market rate adjustment, we increased the shift differential 10 cents.
It's a 2-year contract.
Yep.
I kind of thought we had signed that.
No,
We
So-
agreed to it months ago.
yeah, months ago.
And it hasn't changed,
It has not
nothing's
changed.
changed.
No, I just got back from the union.
So where's the official one?
Those are them right there. Two, one's for the union and one's for us. No, right,
Right, I just wanted to put that over there out of the way. So, it's just the last page we signed.
mm-hmm.
It's not dated, though.
It's dated in the front, though, that's what they go by.
The period applies to the
Right.
front page. There's no signature date.
March 31st, 19 through March 31st of 2021.
On this page that I'm signing, there is a signature date. It says,
top.
Oh, yeah. In witness. So either Howie can witness it or I'll witness it, doesn't matter. Well, it's Howie's contract, so you can witness it, Howie.
I'd be glad to.
this one feels thicker, isn't it?
One's single-sided, the other's double-sided. That's the way I got it from them, so.
Yeah, David, I'm gonna date it up here, because
It can do no harm.
Yes, screw that one up. Would you do that, David, the 29th day of May?
What?
Just fill in the date at the top of that one, would you, please? That's
What do we fill in here? May
This
29th
29th, no, this 29th day of May. Amanda did the same thing.
yeah, I did. I didn't.
That's fine, just,
That all it is.
down the bottom.
Okay. So then we can do the Hales location agreement. David, you'd asked for this?
No,
I think you did. You said we talk about it next week.
Well, I asked for a copy of it because there was, David, didn't you ask if it was month to month or how we could change it or something?
oh, well, that's Hales location agreement, that's with, yes, I did, that's with Kathy Golden. Yes, I did ask that one, I thought it was something else, I didn't realize it was the administrator. And you got two copies of it, you got
Well,
the original one.
117 and the other is,
Is
no, I don't know if she signed this and you guys signed it. I don't have a copy of it. I have an unsigned copy. So she must have the original. Because I went through the Hales location binder and I went through my records.
I don't know, but it's a month to month, and I think we better make some corrections in it. Or if we go month to month, we don't put any corrections in it.
Well, I think we want to talk about what we're going to do. I mean, are we bringing it down here or?
Well, that's,
Who is now qualified as a tax collector in our office?
Nobody.
neither.
I don't think you have to be qualified. I read the RSA, it says that they will be appointed by the selectmen of an unincorporated town.
But doesn't she have certifications and stuff? that
Yeah, because she already works for that.
Showing us or something? Those weren't required.
No. No, because we put the position out in 2015, and we ended up interviewing three or four different people.
Some might have been certified, some might not have.
Yeah,
One of them came from a town,
well, two of them came from town,
so they might have been certified.
and then Kathy. And it was decided that,
The commissioners interviewed him?
yeah.
Was that when Kathy was hired?
No, she's been there for many, many years. She was rehired after all that.
That was before my time.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's when this one was signed. No, this one was signed when I was here.
Right, this was signed in 17. I think Kathy's been there since probably 06, 08.
So when was this one made up?
I don't know, I just found it in my, in my files. So I don't know if she signed it and like took it with her. I don't have a signed copy, so. You were here, it's you, David, and Mr. Hounsel, so.
Why would we have signed two of them? That's-
Well, because one was 17, I believe this is 18, because it says, I think this one was, yeah, expiration of contract, This contract commences on January 1st, 2018, and expires on December 31st, 2018, unless either party provides the other with written notice. So again, this is the one that we created. But I don't know if, I don't have a signed copy anywhere. Because I looked for the Hales location finder today. And I don't know if I can find it this one. In the,
There's a Hales,
oh, there is a Hales?
there is,
Okay.
I can't say for sure it's in there, but there is a Hales folder in the computer.
So there's a Hales folder in the business computer, so the signed copy may be in that one. I just didn't have one.
I thought she had a month-to-month contract.
Well, it says that once it expires and no one signs it, it goes to month to month.
Where does it say that? I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know which one you want to look at. But the one, the two-page one, it's on number 9 under expiration. And, this agreement expires December 31st, 2017, upon which time a new contract may be renegotiated if agreeable by both parties. So,
I don't see any month-to-month thing.
No,
well,
I guess we just have to.
I guess it just goes to month. I guess it's, what do you call that?
Well,
No, like it's just mutually agreed upon or verbally agreed or just known that it continues unless you renegotiate a new contract, which this might be, the new contract? Because I know we talked about it several times over the years. But if you let me look in that file.
I thought we were paying her $12,000 a year.
We are,
Why does it say, I read 16,000 here somewhere?
because that's what it used to be.
Yeah, but if this is her contract and it's signed, we should be paying her 12.
But again,
This ran out.
I don't know if this is the one or this is the one.
So obviously, probably ought to contact her and see if she has one. She must have a copy.
I'm hoping she does. Again, it may be downstairs in the Hales folder in the business drive. So when we make a break, I can find it.
Or we can wait till
Yeah.
next week. Is that all right? Do you mind waiting for a week, David?
No? I think everybody ought to read it and come up with their suggestions if we're gonna go the way she does. Because we've got
Is
some
Hales,
adjustments in the contract if I'm gonna go for it.
Karen?
is Hales location happy with the present person that they have? Is what my question. I've heard some other things that they weren't, but.
Well, I think that was one of the reasons it was discussed bringing it down here, because there'd be somebody to answer the phone
Right.
40 hours a week.
And has that been brought up to the Hales people?
Yes. That was our original plan for 18, and we had discussed that with them because we had an open meeting with them. And then what's the name of the president? The association president,
Steve something.
no, Rick. Woodring.
Rick, yeah.
Rick Woodring, at the time, said that they had a meeting and they were all for that, the association had a meeting and they were all for that because it had more time available to them. But they knew that we would not be going up to Hales, they would have to do all their stuff through us. But
Oh,
then,
we're talking about moving the person down here. They were in favor of it.
yeah,
Yes, they were.
But that goes to ask questions about, is Conway still gonna do the registrations and
Yeah, that's,
Right.
yeah.
Well, and this was 2 years ago.
18? So really only a year ago.
And, I mean, we're just getting a third person downstairs, so do we wanna even consider that right now until everything's caught up?
Well, I said it won't be until the beginning of 2020.
Oh, okay. Then I would say we just leave it the way it is.
David, what was your objection to just going month to month like we've been doing?
Well, some of that is non-public, and the other part of it is, when we set it up, we had no idea, and nobody did, that she was going to have a family crisis that would take her to Florida, and she went to Florida, and I don't know whether she did the work or not, but she wasn't available to the people up here if she was in Florida, and we have nothing in here. I don't mind her going, but there's nothing in here that covers a situation where she got paid and wasn't here.
But all the work was done, correct?
We don't know. And she was supposed to do another hour, 2 hours at the same.
It's right here, 2 hours of flex time.
Okay, now is that non-public? I mean, the contract is public, but is the person involved in the contract, is that person, her activities, that's non-public, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Especially if, if there's complaints. I don't know if there's been complaints. I don't know. So if we're gonna talk about her work.
That's
then
non-public.
Right, you should do it non-public. But if you're just talking about the position, then no.
So, David, you object to continuing the month by month as we've been doing it until?
No, not if it continues, but, we started this, I don't know how long ago, and we haven't even looked at this yet, so we're paying her a lot of money in order, and it should be taken care of. Did we ever, the administrator actually performed duties set forth in the administrator will generate invoices at the end of each month which set forth hours of administration and tax collection actually performed the duties set forth in this contract. I don't think we ever got an accounting of her monthly hours. We got a report on how many telephone calls she got at the SAU, but nothing.
Well, I believe she put her hours on, like the
On the
ambassador
report.
too. Well, yes, and on the Conway bulletin board. Like we've asked her to do.
Well, that was the posting her hours. This says she has to make a report. I haven't seen any report that says, I only worked.
It's monthly. Yeah, no, she sends that
Every month.
every month.
With the hours that she worked. She sends it how many calls she got, where she went, how many copies she's made, but I don't believe it says, I worked
That
37 hours this month.
That I don't know, we'd have to look.
It says she's supposed to do that.
So why don't I get more information and we'll talk about it next week. It's not like it has to be done today.
But
But I think it should be in non-public if it's going to be that. If we're just going to say, well, let's continue like we're doing until the 1st of January and then make a new contract, I think that's public.
Yeah,
But if you
but if you want to start looking at her hours and everything else, I think,
evaluating her,
right.
well, I'm just evaluating what she did against the contract. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. We find out.
well, I think we need to do that in non-public.
I do too.
So we'll put that in non-public, and then after that's settled, then we can talk about,
What you wanna do going forward.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Are we all the way to yellow folder?
Mm-hmm. But the yellow folder will be in non-public,
All right,
non-public minutes.
okay. Howie, do you have any public fires?
I do.
Yeah, the non-public hiring.
Okay. So we are all the way, we did the Siemens project update, administrator updates.
The annual report will be ready on Friday. So we'll be sending it out to all, to the state library and all town offices.
Did we see the commissioner's report?
I wrote it 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Did you share it with us?
I certainly did.
Well,
I
David,
never
I don't
heard
remember
a
it.
comment, so I figured it was okay.
I don't think I saw.
I don't think I saw it, David.
Well, if you didn't, I know it went out, so.
Thursday, Friday, I'll be taking tomorrow and Friday off. GASB 75 has been completed and sent to Melanson and Heath to be included in our in the financials. The generator, you know, is coming next week, and Bob is out. You know that. So that's it.
All right. Commissioner update. David, do you have any commissioner update?
Yep, yesterday, Willie and, I forget the new employee's
Mark?
name, no.
Kevin?
new one, Kevin and Mark and I, well, we did the garden a week ago, and yesterday we put down the plastic and drip tape, so we're all ready to go. It looks like it's gonna be, if things go the way we planned, it should be much better than last year.
All right. You're planting pumpkins there, right?
Pumpkins, some beans, I don't know, he's got a whole milk crate full of them out there. New seeds.
Anything else?
No.
Terry, you have any commissioner updates?
Nope.
Can I ask a question real quick? How do the hayfields look to you guys? No? Ours? No?
None of them look good,
Oh, okay.
or at least mine, and where was I?
No, I'm still talking about the counties.
Counties look good, I think.
Everything's slow because there's no
Cold.
sun.
Oh.
Yeah, cold and no sun. Your fields aren't where they normally are at this
Mine
time.
fields are way behind the counties.
Well, I talked to Will yesterday. He said he cut the one with all the milkweed in last year at this time.
So it's behind, yeah, it's cold, and my stuff is just sitting there kind of waiting for sunshine,
Okay, I just didn't know.
warm weather.
It looks like it's growing, but I don't know.
Well, Memorial Day came a whole week early this year. I have to keep telling myself that. Okay. Let's see, I don't think I did. There had been just an update, and I talked to Bob, and I should have when he was still here. There had been made a request for a camera to be removed, and I believe the commissioners voted to do that, and the message never got to Bob. So, I don't know.
What camera was? I didn't even know about it.
I think it was the camera
Security issue.
over somebody's desk.
Yeah, but we voted for it, and to have it removed, and it never was
Yes.
passed on to Bob, so if, I don't know, David, you want to give that information to Bob and tell him that the...
No, it's your job, you're the chairman, you tell him.
All right, may I have permission to speak for all three of the commissioners?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
thank you. I will do that. The other thing I just, I don't know, I need some information, I guess, is the transfer policy RSA change, is that still tabled? Is that,
As far as I know.
I don't know, I haven't heard anything on it.
so we still keep working on the old whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, that was my only question. Okay, that's all I had. Backing up here, that's, we had no tabled items.
No.
Any media questions? Is there any public input? All right, David, would you like to read us into non-public, please?
Make a motion, we go into non-public. Session 1, under RSA 91-A:3, Roman 2, parentheses, small b, the hiring of any person as a public employee. And Session 2, RSA-A:3, paragraph Roman 2, parentheses, small a, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee. And Session 3, RSA 91-A:3, paragraph 2, parentheses C, matters which if discussed in public would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of the body or the agency themselves. Can I have that sheet, please? Thank you. And I'm going to add Session 4 under 91A:3. Comma, Roman 2, parentheses E, which has been pending claims or litigation which has been threatened in writing or filed against a public body or any subdivision thereof, or against any member thereof because of his or her membership therein, until the claim or litigation has been fully adjudicated or otherwise settled.
I'll second, roll call, please.
Commissioner Babson,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Bevard,
Yes.
Well, it's good, and I can speak up.
Okay. Are we ready? I make a motion we come out of non-public.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I make a motion that we seal sessions 2, 3, and 4. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I have some announcements. We hired a legal assistant. We hired an RN, a registered nurse. We hired an LPN, and we hired an LNA. And I have a letter that I would like read into the record, I guess. It's from Susan Wiley. She's a resident of Sandwich. She's writing to the commissioners about the assisted living facilities. She quotes, "I write to you in support of an assisted living facility to be added to the Mountain View community. Some facts from State Planning Office. Carroll is the oldest county in the state. 2017 data shows the median age 51.4. This compares us with 38 years in the US. New Hampshire average is 42.7. Vermont and Maine are in the low 40s. From public policy publication, New Hampshire, 1 out of every 4 seniors age 85 and older is enrolled in Medicaid. New Hampshire is an older population and less able to pay the cost for a skilled nursing facility. There are only 2 licensed assisted living facilities in the county for those on Medicaid. Howard Chandler, other nursing home professionals, area visiting nurses and healthcare agencies know best about those needing assisted living in order to keep seniors safe and healthy. Assisted living is a smart strategy at much less cost than skilled nursing. A changing demographic and lack of boarding or group homes show the need for a facility to care for elderly. Frugal management does not include paying $300 a day for skilled care when it is not needed. I thank you for once again engaging in serious consideration of an assisted living facility at the Mountain View community. Sincerely, Susan E. Wiley. Any other business?
I didn't get a copy for our files for that hire. So if you just sign that for Jessica.
Okay.
Thank you.
You didn't sign it either.
I signed it last.
Are you guys getting the job descriptions?
Yes,
So we can have those in the commissioner's
Yes,
website?
ma'am. Lisa's working on them. Jess has been out and she's very sick.
Oh,
Pat's working on the jail ones, Howie's working on the nursing home ones, and along with Lisa, and I'm working on the ones from here. So should have it in a binder for you, and you can keep it in your office.
that'd be good. Anything else? Anybody? Are we done? I'll make a motion to.
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Can I have these two?
Oh.
These are the ones I signed.
So we gotta sign checks up here?
Yeah.
Oh.